Good afternoon, everyone. I'm DJ Moises. Today on Beyond the Headlines, we turn our attention to a pressing issue that affects not just governance, but the entire business landscape: corruption. Joining us is Mr. Bernard Sia, Board of Trustee of the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to share the Chamber's strong and unified stand against corruption, a stance echoed by members of Cebu's broader business community. So, good afternoon, Bernard. Good
Hi,
afternoon, bro.
DJ. Good afternoon. How are you?
Yes, good. And it's also nice to finally get to see each other at least this week, no? Even
I
if we have to
agree.
do it remotely.
That's right.
Sige. So, bro, because I think main part of the conversation really has something to do with the ongoing national controversy, no? That's not just impacting government, and because government is people, it also impacts the citizens and also the business community. So, given, no, because we hear that the chamber is also organizing a nationwide initiative aligned to this one, can you tell us more about it?
Well, bro, for the last few weeks, we've seen it on the papers and on this during Senate hearings all about these flood control issues. But I think you agree with me as a fellow Cebuano that the issue on flooding really has been with us for quite a long time already. And what triggered this is actually not the controversies that hound our country right now, but rather the impending inconveniences that the flooding has brought together here in Cebu. So that being said, in behalf of President J. Valios, who is the president of the Cebu Chamber of Commerce, and also in behalf of the Cebu Citizens Initiative, both organizations organized a new movement called Flood Hero Cebu Movement. And this Flood
Mhm.
Hero Cebu movement is a movement for a call to action for a flood-free Cebu. Ang atuag yung gi-emphasize here as part of our vision, and as you can see there right now, is we envision for a livable Cebu characterized by social order and a robust economy for all.
Mhm.
Basically inviting everybody. If you have the love for Cebu, we would like to ask you to be part of this movement, the Flood Hero Cebu. Further
Mhm.
to share to you that we hope that with the Flood Hero Cebu movement, we are able to mobilize and educate the community. And also to be able to, I'd like to say, collaborate with the government, not really be against them, but collaborate with the government to fulfill its role in addressing flood related issues.
Mhm. So it's good actually, because we are engaging the community this time and taking a deeper, and more holistic stance against corruption. So why do you think, bro, it's important that Cebu takes an active role in this nationwide push?
Realistically, it will be a huge obstacle if we do this on the nationwide scale. And Cebu
Mm,
Chamber being the engine of growth and change in Cebu
mm,
is taking on this role. Not our our vision for addressing corruption is addressing it in a different direction. Cebu Chamber,
mm,
again, it being a chamber of 800 members, decided to go the other way, decided to go the more proactive way of collaboration. We hope that through
mm,
the Flood Hero Cebu movement, we are able to fight corruption by creating more transparent and more aware and more relevant solutions, and not just be on the sidelines and doing our complaints.
mm. So let's zoom out a little bit, no? Because I know that we also have our own experiences about how urgent
Yeah,
both flooding and corruption
yeah.
are, no? So can you also articulate, no, for our viewers, how does corruption, in your opinion, or at least on the stance of CCCI, is really affecting the SMEs, no, in particular, and the startups in Cebu?
Thank you for that. Thank you also for allowing us to zoom out, no, not really focusing on
Mm,
corruption per se for flood controls, but doing business in general. And yes, I
Yeah.
do agree that there are some sort of obstacles, especially for SMEs in doing business. That's why
Mm,
you can see that the chamber right now is actually on the verge of really mobilizing our concierge center. The chamber is very SME centric, and that's why
mm,
not only do we have programs to uplift the businesses of our SMEs, but we also encourage the SMEs to reach out to the chamber. It can be
mm,
overwhelming to start a business as far
mm,
as I don't want to call it corruption, but maybe there's some sort of red tape or there's some sort of delays in business
mm,
business permit processing. The chamber is very engaged with the different government agencies like the DTI, even the
mm,
Bureau of Customs, so that it will make SMEs, it will allow the SMEs uh, easier entry into business.
mm.
Corruption is really a very large term, Manggod, bro. So
Yeah,
it's
it is.
it's a very large term that can step into so many different government and non-government organizations as well. So as far as the chamber is concerned, zooming out, looking at the SMEs, the best way the chamber can help the SMEs by
Mm.
fighting corruption is giving them the accessibility to the different government agencies through the chamber.
Mhm. So I think you have already kind of covered a portion of what this movement is going to undertake. But do you also have kind of further insights as well, though, on what specific? Because I also like kind of when I saw the article that it's also systemic. It's not just limited to this particular controversy, if we call it as that.
Yes.
So, what
Yeah.
specific systems, man, or processes do you believe, no, or does CCCI believe need urgent reform?
Bro,
A few
before
lang.
I answer that question, if it's all right with you to give
Mhm.
a little bit of a background
Sige.
on the relevance of the Flood Hero Cebu movement. As I mentioned
Mm,
here already, that this is not actually a knee-jerk reaction to the controversies that you have
mm,
seen right now in the Senate and with the contractors. But this Flood Hero Cebu movement was born out of the love of Cebu and the call of the Cebuanos for a longer term sustainable solution. So,
mm,
system-wise, the Cebu Chamber of Commerce has already put in place a lot of machineries to be able to address this. One of which is collaboration with the different organizations. And that's why I mentioned a while ago about Cebu Contractors because I actually wear two hats. I'm also a trustee for the Cebu Contractors Association and with the partnership of CCA and Cebu Chamber
mm,
we had a deep discussion with Mayor Nestor Archival, maybe a month and a half,
mm,
with the Cebu contractors offering our services to Mayor and asking him, Mayor, how can we help?
mm,
With that in mind, the mayor, him being an engineer also, daghan kaayo siya gihatag na recommendations and suggestions. Um,
mm,
Three of which have been mentioned are number one, the dredging of the rivers of Cebu,
mm,
and I'm sure Mandawi also as well. The
mm,
second one is the declogging of the sewer lines. And the third one
mm,
is the creation of the retention tanks or retention ponds that kind of hold
mm,
the rainwater while the sewers are not able to handle them. Of
mm,
these three, we are able to address this because when President Jay mentioned about the Flood Hero Cebu movement, he had the exact same uh, proposed solutions as well. Now,
mm,
I want to be able to share with you the dredging side of it, and I'm sure you know Trustee Regan King, who also wears
mm,
two hats with the chamber and us also with the Cebu contractors. He is
mm,
already in communication with both mayors Mandawi and Cebu and has already mobilized their amphibious dredging machines
mm,
for the
mm,
dredging of the rivers. That is the
mm,
LGU solution. So I don't
mm,
think private corporations can do that. The second
mm,
one is the declogging, and the third one is the retention tanks. That is
mm,
where President Jay is calling on the private corporations to be able
mm,
to rise to the occasion also, not to just depend only on the LGU.
mm,
We can, as a private corporation, do our own declogging on the sewer lines that are running through our different establishments. That's one.
mm,
Second one is the creation of the retention tank. Now,
mm,
think AGC in Manila, as they are a new development there. They were able to create a retention pond underneath their development, right? That
mm,
is quite impossible for us to do in Cebu because Cebu is a very old city. So in effect,
mm,
the cry or the call is we hope that our chamber member corporations and even the other corporations can create their own pocket retention tanks. So
mm,
imagine if majority of our establishments rise to the occasion by not just providing building permit requirement tanks, wherein you are asked to create a rainwater tank just so
mm,
that you can apply for a building permit, but really go one step higher. Now they can create their
mm,
own flood water retention tank over and on
mm,
top of their regular rainwater tank lang. I know I'm
mm.
boring you with the technicalities ha, kibaw ko
No, no,
murag.
no, no. No,
So,
actually, I even have some follow-up questions, but you go
oh,
ahead.
okay. But in a nutshell, we're trying to ask the movement is trying to ask nga, uy kaning atong mga member corporation sa chamber or even if you're not a member of the chamber, pwede ba if you can level up a bit and to
Mm,
provide not just the minimum of what the government is asking, but above and beyond.
mm,
President Jay also has this idea nga maybe the bigger corporations can donate a retention tank by providing this retention tank underneath barangay basketball courts, bro. Can you imagine a barangay
mm.
basketball court? Unsa na siya kadaka? Unya,
Correct.
if we are able to retain the flood waters to these retention tanks, and then when the rains are over, these retention tanks actually are a two-in-one purpose because kung wala na ulan, the water inside the tanks can actually be used to recharge the water table. So we will not put a
Correct.
concrete tank sa ilalom para slowly musip in sila balik sa ato ang water table. In effect, recharge.
Mm,
So those
mm,
those movements like that, maybe needs more private initiative, no?
mm,
And but on the other side also, being a flood hero Cebu movement does not mean that it's only for the institutions and the organizations and the big corporations. Anybody can do their part to be a flood hero Cebu movement.
mm,
Another example President Jay shared to us was kanibitang mga the ladies in, I'm sorry bro ha, I'm just forgetting if it's either Compostela or Bugo ba to nga na ay mga ladies or women that take the used cement sacks or used rice sacks and they actually convert it into fashionable eco bags or fashionable
mm,
bags for the females. There are movements that are like that also. But even to the Gen Zs nato ngaron nga community that are very fond of social media,
mm,
they can be our advocates in social media to be able to say, uy, di ta manglabay og basura kay because maka-clog up. A simple resharing of our sustainability methods, of our being responsible citizens, that can go a long way already. So maybe
mm,
one of your questions will be, and I'm sorry to preempt you, kinsa may pwedeng mo appeal sa Flood Heroes movement? And I've just stated that it's anybody who loves Cebu.
mm,
We have one speaker in the Cebu Chamber meeting. I believe that was December of last year. They are called River Recycle. So
mm,
they're a company that gathers plastic bottles and recyclable materials in Cebu, not in other parts. And
mm,
you know what they do? What they do with it? They make them into boards. So instead of using
mm,
plywood, you can use these river recycled boards already. I was so personally, I was so amazed at this technology that because I'm in the business of, and I'm not plugging, but because I'm in the business of construction materials, I told the ones who made this river recycle, that I would like to display this in my store and sell it at a
mm,
very with just a convenience fee lang, because imagine if you need plywood, instead of using plywood, you use the river recycle boards, and who you help are Cebuanos. Okay, the more we use
mm,
these products, the more plastics from the rivers in Cebu disappear.
mm, mm.
Kana, bro.
Sige, I'll go back because I'm also glad to see no na there are private organizations and even citizens no or groups that are bonding together to find sustainable solutions to the flooding question. But allow me to go back lang when you mentioned about the role of members, no, the business community, the members of the Cebu Chamber, specifically on declogging. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there is a perception that what's clogging also the waterways are not just the dwellers, but also certain business establishments. How is that being addressed, bro?
I'm I'm s- that's really the reason why you are one of the best moderators in Cebu and nakaibiliba ginako nimo. So yeah, that question was raised during the media launch in
Mm,
of the Flood Hero Cebu movement, and I'd like to paraphrase na lang what our President Jay has mentioned. You know,
mm,
and yes, that is true. It's not our sewers are clogged not only by the dwellers but even by different establishments here in Cebu. And that's a
mm,
very tricky question, because it's these people might be our friends. We have been in the business for years, and
mm,
Cebuanos have this character of being meek and humble and really not wanting to step on one another's toes. So allow me to say what President Jay has mentioned. The
mm,
change to be able to address this issue that's also caused by the private establishments.
mm,
President Jay would say change should start from within. The best thing the chamber can do, as far as the chamber is concerned, is to echo what is right and what we need to do. And that's why the Flood
mm,
Hero Cebu movement is here to create noise that hopefully one day, and
mm,
hopefully in the nearer future, that these
mm,
establishments that might be, and I'd like to underscore, might be the causes of the clogging,
mm,
realize through
mm,
the Flood Hero Cebu movement nga, uy, usaman di ay ta, let us try to
mm,
initiate our own change, because change should
mm,
start from within. That really struck me
mm,
when President Jay mentioned that to the media, because he's right. Even in our personal lives, no matter how much letter you send to these establishments, no matter how you tell the owner, come on, let's have coffee. Uy, can you help us? Can you do this? Dili man gina
mm,
mahitabo, because the change
mm,
should be realized from within. So
mm,
the best thing the chamber can do through the Flood Hero Cebu movement is to become the catalyst of change, so that when that catalyst is mixed into the ingredient of this private company, they will
mm,
hopefully self-regulate themselves. This
mm.
would go.
Yeah. No, 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 because when I read that part of the initiative is also something to do with ethical practices. So I'm glad actually that this conversation at least is brought to the surface, no?
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
Okay, it's also good for us to have conversations like this. And allow me, because I also have another kind of potentially tricky question also, because I would agree, with what you said and what also President Jay said about the importance of kind of change coming from within. Another perception also that probably some of our viewers would also like to hear, no, us in the business community to comment on is a culture that also normalizes under the table practices, no? So what's your or CCI's take, Mansad, on this? Because that's a long running observation.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So yeah, it will, yeah. So uh, you know, I think as far as myself is concerned, I'd like to say that I represent the chamber for this one, and I can actually reply to you. You know, I'm trying to delay, no? I'm trying to formulate the answer in my mind. I can reply to you, bro, with three hats that I am wearing, one of which you and me are part of, no? I'll start
Mm,
with the Cebu Chamber of Commerce, and I'd like to mention this because corruption really is not tolerated. We all know that, no? It's when you say under the table, sometimes under the table means SOP, which is really bad. It's really bad. You don't want to make
it
it a
is.
standard operating procedure. There are some people who term it as GNC, not the vitamins, but called graft and corruption. And
Ah, okay.
because it's so open that it becomes
Correct.
like a normal already.
Normal.
I am
Mm,
so afraid that the new generation right now believes that this is the normal thing to do. I hope and I
mm,
pray that when we do have our SK elections, nga mga kanang kabataan nga elections, that they don't resort to this as being normal.
mm. Agree.
To be able to say, as far as the Cebu Chamber of Commerce is concerned, is what I recall of the 2 years that I am a trustee of the chamber and the 30 over years of being a member in one is President J.U. Valios and actually VP Regan King actively being part of the ARTA, Anti-Red Tape
Mm,
organization. The chamber is working closely with ARTA to make sure that uh, we try to we try to shorten processes because
mm,
it is the lengthy process and the tedious process that corruption and bribery comes into play.
mm.
Everything
People
is
become more vulnerable.
diba? Oo, if everything is
Mm,
easy, then if everything's easy, there's no need for you to be corrupt. Without naming
mm,
any government agencies, but you do know that even to get a license, whatever license, be it a contractor's license, driver's license, any license, there's some sort of level of difficulty. Or
mm,
at the same time on the other end, there's also some sort of level of impatience of of us right now. Kapoy naghuwat,
mm,
di na lang kumulinya, I will just do this. So the
mm,
chamber, I know, is really at the forefront of trying to stop corruption because of our close ties with the ARTA, the Anti-Red Tape Authority. Uh, the
mm,
dedication of the chamber by creating a department in the chamber to be able to make ease of doing business better.
mm,
I will tell you for a fact that during our trustee and executive meetings, there's so many companies that comes up already, goes to the chamber and says, "Naglisod man ko og buhat og new business here. How can you help?"
mm,
And you can really feel the trustees mobilizing the network to be able to make sure that instead of corruption, instead of bribery, we're able to connect to
mm,
the right people.
mm,
The second hat I'd like to wear is a hat of being part of the construction industry for the last 30 years and being an active trustee. You
mm,
already have heard about PCAB and the how it's come under fire during Senate hearings. I'd like to be
mm,
bold to say that the PCAB chair, we all know, including you, bro, know that
mm,
he's a Cebuano, and we know for a fact
mm,
he is at the forefront of making sure that the pickup is as transparent as can be. I know for a
mm,
fact that because I am part of the Cebu Chamber, I mean Cebu Contractors Association, and being a
mm,
PhilConstruct chairman for the last almost 15 years, that the
mm,
pickup has shared how easy it is to get a contractor's license online.
mm,
Instead of 20 years ago, you have to bring a maleta of documents to Manila. Right now,
mm,
the pickup chair, Ricky Dakay, over the last 5 to 7 years, has has already created an online portal to be able to
mm,
make pickup or contractors application more, and I'd like to underline this, transparent. And in
mm,
effect, if it's transparent, it becomes easy. Now, of
mm,
course, without dwelling into the discussions, there are, if people really want to do something bad, they will always look for a loophole. But the intention
mm,
and integrity for all intents and purposes, the PCAB's digitization has created a portal for the majority of the contractors with integrity to come into play.
Mm,
To the
mm,
effect even that the PCAB has created the Amo Pacquiao, which is a lower form of contractor. We would like to be able to also regulate the mga foreman lang a construction. So we have a program for that one so that not only do we attain PCAB licenses for the big corporations, the quadruple A's, the triple A's, which is what is highlighted now sa Senate. Bro, that's only a
mm.
handful. That's like point pila ka percent lang. The
Of
true
the many.
benefits, yeah, the true benefits of regulating contractors falls to the SMEs. The mga
Mm,
pakyaw, mga foreman lang, inana, bitaw. We regulate them. In
mm,
effect, we're able to ensure of their quality work. So,
mm.
I mean, so if you look at it right now, under fire is sa una, kung contractor, it is dignified. Karon, kung contractor, it's the butt of all the jokes already. And I think,
Mm,
personally, it's unfair for the contractors that really do honest to goodness work. And
mm.
without naming names, and I'm sure you will see that in Cebu, there's a lot of roads and there's a lot of infrastructure that's done by very dignified contractors. Not to mention the private contractors who do a lot of high-rise buildings. The
Mm,
third hat I'd like to share is the hat as us Rotarians. And
mm.
you have a logo here, Rotary as. It's just so timely when I'm talking to you, bro. I really look at you as an epitome of a Rotarian, manggod. So, makuha na ako ba nga kung corruption lang, at the end of the day, what we can do is really just look at the four-way test. And then everything
Mm.
you say and everything you do, if you are able to,
Do.
if you come into an opportunity nga, ako na lang ning buhatog dali-dali kay para muhatag na lang ko gamay kay para madali, maybe at the end of the day, you ask yourself, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Is it going to build goodwill and better friendship? And I think last but not the least, and very important,
Yes. Very
is
important.
is it
Will it
is it be will it be
beneficial?
beneficial to all
All
concerned? Kana
concerned.
siguro.
Mm.
Nagana kayo na ingon bro. Sakto na siguro to.
No, 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 because these are also good insights, and this time coming from somebody who is also a leader and active in the business community. You've mentioned earlier, no, about technology, and in our previous episodes, we're also glad because we guested a new counselor, no, his counselor Winston Papito, and he's been advocating to advance more technology in local government units, no, like Cebu City. So how about for the chamber, bro? Because we also agree that with technology, not only will it speed up the process, but it also reduce, if not eliminate, red tape. So do you hear also of certain initiatives between the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and also Cebu City government in
Right.
terms of advancing technology, in our business practices?
Right. Yeah. Yes, I do have heard of digitization
Digitization. Yes.
processes already between with the Cebu City government. I've already mentioned that pickup
Mm,
actually is a national government, so that one is digitization.
mm,
But
mm,
I've also listened to the architect Catalan, who is the head of OBO at
mm,
city government, and to be able to apply for a building permit. He shared to us when we had this Cebu Chamber Philconstruct forum. We invited him and he
mm,
shared to us that digitization at the office of the building official is already in place. It's not even has begun,
mm,
but it's already in place. In the effect that
mm,
you can apply for a building permit online, you can upload all your building plans online already, and please don't quote me on this, but I'm trying to remember he was saying that you can actually get a building permit for as fast as 3 hours, or was it 3 days? I'm not really sure. Memory
mm.
already is failing me, but I do know for a fact that Cebu City LGU is already online with some departments.
Some
Sadly,
departments.
I am not I am not well versed with the entirety of it. As far as the
Mm,
Cebu Chamber of Commerce is concerned, yes, digitization is already in place with us. We do have the Cebu Chamber like online store wherein the members of the Cebu Chamber can showcase their products there. So it's like Shopee but Cebu
mm,
Chamber. It's still there. The,
mm,
the site is still there. I think it's Cebu Chamber store if I'm not mistaken. As far as
mm,
giving opportunity to the SMEs to be online.
mm,
Uh, for
mm,
work, for work processes, that's a very good idea. I would honestly say that I hope that as far as my department, business development in Cebu Chamber is concerned, we'd like to be able to do digitization already. For
mm.
collaborations between Cebu Chamber and the Cebu City government, I am not yet aware of any digitization processes between the two.
Mm. And Kola, just a heads up, and maybe Cebu Chamber of Commerce would like to get in touch, no, with Councilor Winston Popito,
Yeah, yeah,
because he mentioned that part of the ordinance that he proposed, no, and it's still for review, would include automation such as cedula, which
Oh,
can
okay.
be automated,
That's
and
right.
also processing of business permits. So maybe if the local government of Cebu City and Cebu Chamber can collaborate more on that, then we can see more automation
Right.
also in business application, no,
Right.
in our local government unit.
Right. Right.
Sige.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
I agree, bro. And maybe, sorry, I just needed to mention this that you're right. You now that you mentioned business permits, there is actually a current collaboration between the DTI and the Cebu
mm,
Chamber. So yes, we will definitely get in touch with Councilor Winston Pepito and
mm.
pick his brain so that we can make this part of the movement of Cebu Chamber being a catalyst of change.
Yes. So sige. Now, going back to, I'm sorry if I've been putting you on the spot, no? But this question is already more on the moving forward, no? So, what's your message or your encouragement, no, to business owners, especially those who are still starting, no? Uh, for those who are afraid of business consequences if they refuse to play along. No? So what's your message for them, or what's
Uh,
your encouragement for them?
Yeah. So your biggest chain will always be fear. And I really
Mm,
still strongly believe that our system is not corrupt. No matter how much you see on the Senate or no matter even as simple as getting a license, I still firmly believe that uh, our system is not that corrupt.
mm,
As a private citizen, I can tell you with all confidence that when my son got his driver's license, you have to follow certain steps, right? And it can be very taxing to follow those steps because that means you have to wait the whole day, and not everyone has the whole day to wait. But I'm proud to say that from the time he applied for his student's permit until he got his non-professional, uh, to try to be a good parent and to emulate the four-way test, I told him, even if somebody told him, oh, you can just pay 10,000 all in na, you don't have to take the exam. I said, oh, sige, if you want to do that, I'll give you the 800 pesos for the licensing fee. You come up with the 9,200. Wala man siya 9,200, bro. So, it's
mm,
not done out of freedom. He did it out of circumstance. And, true enough, he got his license, the entire process, 5 hours with the exam, and
mm,
without a single centavo of corruption, of bribery.
mm,
And that alone,
mm,
you will already say nga, kaya magidi ay.
mm,
So my message as a private citizen is I hope we can start with ourselves. Because if we are
mm,
able to start with ourselves, then whatever best practice you start with yourself, you bring it to your workplace already. And
mm.
and
Eh,
yes, go ahead, bro. Yeah.
no, no, continue, continue.
And that being said, as far as the Cebu Chamber of Commerce is concerned, the only thing we can do, member or not, we are here for you. So you just have to reach out to us. Maybe there's that level of um, and which some people have already reached out to the Cebu Chamber. And
Mhm.
this chamber has a Facebook page, has a website. Member or not, let us show you that the chamber is there to be a catalyst of change, to be an
Mm.
engine of growth. It's
Mm.
already very I think it's very it's a very abused word already, but I can't begin to imagine how business is without the chamber. I've only been
Mm.
active in the chamber for the last 2.5 years, and I've seen the difference. Prior to that, I would just be the member that will receive emails. I won't even bother to read them. But seeing how it is and how it works, dako gyud og tabang gyud ang chamber, and I believe the chamber helps even if you're not a member. So do
Mm.
not be afraid to reach out. We've done a lot of missions outside in Japan, in Hong Kong, and we have got in touch with their trade offices and their chambers there. And the chambers in Osaka, Japan, in Hong Kong have one same mission to bring
Mm.
business into their own city and to be the conduit between the private and the public. And
Mm.
and you better understand the chamber's goals if you attend and if you read more about us.
Mm. And that's very reassuring, no, to know, especially for those who are starting in their business activities, no, that the chamber is really there for them, whether they are members or not, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's also one part that you said about your son, no, Cooper, and his
Experience.
experiences, no, in terms of getting a driver's license himself. And one thing lang, bro, that I'd like to honor you with that, it's because I've also learned in many leadership books, but and especially with my dad, when he would always say that we can really talk so much about integrity and honesty, but as far as kids are concerned, these are more caught than taught, no.
Yeah.
So that's one example of how change can actually start from even within our
Within.
families and
Yeah.
within ourselves. So thank you for sharing those insights. Now let's go back to Flood Hero Cebu movement, no, because there's going to be a summit, no, that's
Yes.
going to be that you want, that your group is organizing. Can you tell us more about the summit?
So the last 40 minutes of our discussion have all been about the movement. Please
Mm.
join the movement. The movement is something that will not cost you a cent. You can, or it may, if you want to, you can either contribute your time, your talent, your resource, whatever you can contribute for the movement. We are asking anyone who loves Cebu to join the movement. The movement is not a venue, it's not a date, it's not a time. It is an organization for all those who want to have a better Cebu. That is the movement. I'd like to move now to the summit, which is the first activity of the movement. And it's flashed right
Mm.
here on the screen right now. This Saturday, September 27, from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, through the generosity of Attorney Gasgo, he has lent us the Cebu Coliseum so that we can call all members who are interested to join the movement to join this summit we call Flood Hero Cebu Summit or Flood Free Cebu Summit. The
Mm.
summit is open to everyone. And if you want to register, please go to the Cebu Chamber of Commerce Facebook page where you will see this poster. Or you can just screenshot this poster right now because at the bottom right there is a QR code. And I'd like to reiterate that there is no registration fee for this. Your presence is more than enough for you to join. We hope to be able to bring in 2,500 Cebuanos who love Cebu to listen to
Mm.
us on how we can create the movement for a more sustainable Cebu City. Again,
Mm.
the movement is the group of people, and the movement's first activity is the summit that will happen on Saturday, September 27 at the Cebu Coliseum. And we enjoin everyone to be there, be a catalyst for change. We hope you can go, and it's not a payment, but if you just want, When you go, if you can bring 5 empty used recyclable bottles, because we will have a bin that you can drop all those empty bottles right there. And then once the
Mhm.
summit is done, we will create a bottle tower, and then we will place it in strategic parts of Cebu City, Mandawi City, to be able to remind the Cebuanos that this bottle represents flood-free Cebu movement, a movement where you can do something on your own. No action is too small or too big for this one. So we hope we all see everybody there. You just need to bring yourself. You just need to register. We have had a myriad of organizations already submitted their commitments. We have the Rotary District 3860. We have the JCs. We have a lot of residential subdivisions, homeowner associations. We have the Aboitiz Group private organizations. We have, of course, the Cebu um, Citizens Initiative. We have the Cebu Chamber of Commerce. We are hoping to bring in at least 2,500 people to be able to represent Cebu and the movement itself. So I hope everyone will join us there. We will end at 5 o'clock. We will showcase some technologies that we might use to be able to do sustainability. We also have invited, and they have confirmed, but fingers crossed they will go there, the different mayors of our metro cities, the different congressmen. But I'd like to reiterate what President Jay has mentioned. This is not a venue for us to rant or to complain, but rather a venue for us to tell the mayors, to tell the congressmen that, hey, we are here, we're holding your hand, let's work this out together for a flood-free Cebu.
Mhm. And before I'll join you also with the invitation, bro, we're actually glad to hopefully see the chief executives, no, of our local government units in Metro Cebu, because our conversations for the past week, no, concerning flood, concerning traffic, would always lead, no, towards a more integrated
Yeah,
approach to this, because when it comes to traffic, traffic does not stop in Cebu City or
agree,
does not stop in Talisay, no.
agree,
So the flow of traffic is all over the metro, and the
agree.
same with water in the context of flood.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
hopefully, no, the chief executives of the local government units will be there, not for us to complain, I
Yeah,
agree with you,
yeah,
but for us to be able to work this out together, no?
yeah, I agree.
So yes, we will be supporting the summit, and I also do my best to bring some friends, no,
Yes,
for us to get to know more about how we can take a more active role in
yes,
Flood Hero Cebu movement.
yes.
So
And
for as we are about to close this conversation, bro, do you have a final message, no,
uh,
to no, no, not yet.
okay.
final, final message addressed to an ordinary employee, a student, or entrepreneurs, no, who are watching us today, no, for us to be more engaged
Right,
in solving our kanang problems such as flooding or even
right,
traffic,
right,
and also corruption.
right. Okay. Yeah. So, as an ordinary employee, extraordinary employee, student, or what have you, as I mentioned earlier, there is no role, there is no contribution too big or too small. Um, the problem of flooding in Cebu is real and affects everything, including corruption. By creating a flood-free Cebu, and I know this does not happen overnight, I know it will take years. We ask the ordinary employee, the ordinary student, the different businesses to please soldier on. Be a part of the movement, because by your being part of the movement, you are able to be reminded always of your roles as citizens, to be responsible, not to throw your trash anywhere. You are reminded that if you are part of the movement, you are part of a slow, progressive, uphill solution to this problem. What's in it for you? Very easy. What's in it for you is, in the future, You will have a Cebu to come home to. Your children will have a Cebu that they will enjoy. I believe in doing actions that will benefit 7 generations. There's that if you Google the 7 generations, there's a movement also for that one. What's in it for you as an ordinary employee? Hopefully, if we don't have flooding anymore, is you get to work faster. Our logistics expenses will be cheaper in effect. Everything will be more competitive. You will have a better economy. I know that it's another discussion nga ni Saka atong minimum wage right now, but that alone is already a big discussion. But I feel like it still is very connected to solving our flooding problem, which also solves our traffic problem. I can't begin to reiterate that to be able to be part of the Flood Hero Cebu movement really checks a lot of solutions to not just flooding. It's and if you really want to know what's in it for you or how can you help, you can just easily go to the movement. Allow us to reiterate. If I can just give you a short, what will happen there? We will have a situational analysis. It tells you what's happening from a macro perspective. After that, we'll be able to give you statistics on how much water it is that we are really facing. Then we'll have our design to action keynote speech, and we will have panel discussions also. So I hope that to be able to answer DJ's question, what can you do as an ordinary employee? We can answer you now, but if you can please join us in Cebu Coliseum, I think a lot of questions will be answered there. I know there are question and answer portions also, but 2,500 people, there's going to be a lot. So we hope to be able to anticipate your questions so it will be answered by the panel discussion also.
Mhm. So thank you, bro. No? And yes, we are inviting the Cebu community and neighboring local government units to join us in this movement and to take part on the summit, which will be happening this weekend. So once again, bro. So I'm calling you bro now, but once again, we'd like to thank Mr. Bernard Sia, for joining us today in this conversation and for reminding us that flooding and corruption is not just a government problem, it's not just a business problem, but it is a challenge and an opportunity that every Filipino or every Cebuano can take part in solutioning them.
Agree.
So that wraps up this edition of Beyond the Headlines. We hope today's conversation helped shed light on the bigger picture behind the story. I'm DJ Moises, and thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to everyone.